A delegation of U.S. defense contractors is in Taipei for a forum to bolster bilateral security cooperation. The group is led by retired U.S. Marine officer Stephen Rudder, and it will meet with Taiwanese domestic weapons makers. Sources tell TaiwanPlus that this forum will focus on how to improve the country's drone technology and look for better ways to make sure that Taiwan has the weapons it needs to defend itself. The group will also meet with President Lai Ching-te and other top government officials. Now, Taiwan's been prioritizing drone technology for its defense. But how effective is this strategy? To find out, Jaime Ocon spoke to Eric Gomez, a security analyst from the Cato Institute in Washington, D.C.
This group of U.S. defense contractors that are in Taiwan, meeting with the president and domestic defense companies here in Taiwan, it looks like they're looking to advance Taiwan's drone capabilities. How significant are drones to Taiwan's overall defense capability?
Well, for asymmetric defense, drones are pretty fantastic. Unmanned systems are excellent capabilities for an asymmetric defense strategy, especially for a country like Taiwan that has difficulty with personnel level. And I think Taiwan needs more drones of all ranges, of all types. And I know that the Taiwanese domestic defense industry has been working hard in recent years to try and increase their number of drones. And again, the Ukraine war shows like you expend a lot of these in a conflict. So figuring out what you want to produce and starting to produce in scale now is a really good idea for Taiwan across the board.
Now, aside from advancing Taiwan's drone capabilities, Taiwan is also still waiting on billions of dollars of U.S. weapons that haven't arrived to Taiwan yet. What's the status on those weapons and why is it taking so long?
The sort of good news, bad news maybe for Taiwan is about 10 billion of this stuff is 2 arm sales. I believe it goes up to about 11 billion for 3 arm sales. The HIMARS, the Abrams tanks, and F-16s. By the end of 2026, assuming there are no new delays, those 3 packages should be delivered in full. And so this backlog problem just on those gets cut by more than half by 2026, assuming there's no new big arms sales announced. So the first issue is trying to find this. The second issue is, well, why does it exist? And I can't give you a simple answer. Unless we have more information, it's really hard to know where the problem is coming from. But I think there are 3 potential candidates. There's the US government, the Taiwanese government, and the US defense industry. The US government might be a problem with delays depending on how long it takes them to get certain things done bureaucratically on their end. Ditto for the Taiwanese.
And in terms of urgency, there's this famous Davidson window of 2027 when China could be able to conduct an attack, but is not saying that it will conduct an attack. In the sense of urgency for Taiwan getting these weapons, how significant is it that it's rushing or improving its own domestic industry?
Well, a lot of it depends on, the assessment of that window. And for what it's worth, I don't buy the Davidson window. I don't think that Xi Jinping has a date in mind. I don't think the PLA has a date in mind. Yes, they have been practicing these sort of operations around Taiwan, but they're in the midst. They're about 10 years into a big, defense reform effort. So I think the good news for Taiwan is that there is time, right?